Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzwong TV here, aka G-Lawrence33. I am back here today with your Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 68 full review on the channel for y'all today. I am posting this just hours after I posted the spoiler video, and I told you guys wanted to have post notifications enabled because once we got the summary, I would be making that review video right away, right? So this is the first full chapter of the Granola the Survivor arc, you know, and the next journey for Goku and Vegeta is revealed, and I love what they are doing with Goku and Vegeta, right? You know, some of us had some concerns about Goku's UI and where Vegeta would be heading, but it seems like we're going to be still getting Goku and Vegeta training in their own ways, and that gets me really excited, especially with what they did with this chapter, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. We also get to see more about Granola, right? We got a little bit of his backstory and how his race was destroyed by the Frieza Force and the Saiyans, right? Bardock in them, and how Granola wants revenge. So they are setting up a confrontation between Granola and Frieza, so that could be going down in the next couple of episodes. Plus, or not episodes, manga chapters. You guys know what I mean. And this is probably going to get Goku and Vegeta's attention, of course, and things are just going to get more and more crazy from there. As we get into the review, I gotta say thank you as always to DBS Hype on Twitter. He gave us the spoilers and the summary. As always, that guy is great. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter, DBS Hype. So let's get into the chapter. So I'm gonna go through the, basically, guys saw the early draft pages. Like I said, we got a little bit of Granola's backstory. We got to see how he's from this cereal race, right? That's what they call the Cerealians. I still don't know how to pronounce it, but you guys get what I mean. And we saw that his homeworld was destroyed by Frieza's forces, right? And all these years later, he's the only survivor left, and he wants payback on Frieza for that. He doesn't know about Goku Vegeta. He doesn't know that there's about 3 or 4 Saiyans left. But by the end of this chapter, it's clear that Granola is gonna face off against Frieza here eventually, right? So also in the early draft pages, we saw Goku transform the UI as he was training with WHIS, right? And remember, Goku started off this UI training with WHIS way back in Resurrection F. Beerus kind of completed that, but Goku, he's only at the first level of UI, which we're going to talk about. This actually got me really excited because you guys know I am a UI Goku mark, right? But I love UI, and I'm excited for the future of it. So basically, right, as Goku transforms and goes up against Whis, Goku flies into the air and he splits into a few copies of himself to attack Whis. These are basically after images, right? This was one of Goku's signature moves, and Whis, is able to take them out pretty easily. And he's able to find the real Goku, and he knocks him down to the ground as well. Whis tells Goku that he shouldn't try to imitate him, right? And that Goku needs to find his own fighting style. So Whis is telling Goku, don't try to be like me. You gotta be, yourself here, right? You gotta make UI your own special ability. And Goku says that he was hoping fighting that way would work. So Goku and Whis continue trading. Vegeta asks Beerus if Whis currently uses Ultra Instinct, right? And Beerus confirms that angels are always using UI. So angels are always using UI. That's why, when Moro tried to attack Whis, Whis was able to basically block it so easily. Whis was able to block it with one finger while looking. So it does make it funny because we have that scene in Resurrection F where Whis stepped in, the poo, right? But it is confirmed that angels are always using UI, So Goku's throwing some punches at Whis, but Whis is able to catch them easily. And Whis says, this is where I start getting really excited. Whis tells Goku that he's just at the beginning stages of Ultra Instinct. Whis says that his Ultra Instinct is higher than Beerus's, and the precision of the Grand Priest is even higher. So we learned that there are stages to Ultra Instinct, right? Goku, so what is it? Goku says that he must be the lowest among the UI users. Whis suggests that there is still room for Goku's training to improve, which gets Goku excited. So like I said, Goku's basically at the lowest level of Ultra Instinct right now. So we know that Beerus is above that, right, as a training angel. Then we got Whis above that, who is an angel. And then we got Mirrors. I mean, not Mirrors. We got the Grand Priest, who is, we know he's the father of Whis and Mirrors and all these other angels. So his Ultra Instinct is at the highest stage, right? I don't know if Zeno has Ultra Instinct or anything like that, but it's basically confirmed that the levels right now is Goku, Mirrors, Whis, and then the Grand Priest. So that's exciting. So Goku is going to continue improving on UI, and I said that should be Goku's direction going forward. If you're not going to have Goku training Oob and Broly yet, right, have Goku improve on UI. So that could potentially mean new forms eventually, but at least the concept of Ultra Instinct is going to remain. I don't want Goku to get a new form even if he is improving on UI, because remember, I just love the silver hair. It just represents so much when it comes to Goku's character. So that's my thoughts on that, but I am excited that we're going to see Goku improving on UI as we go through this arc, right? So while Goku and Whis are training, Vegeta's having a conversation with Beerus. So Beerus asks Vegeta if Vegeta is not aiming for UI. Vegeta says he's not aiming because UI doesn't suit him, which we all know that's facts, right? That's not Vegeta's type of fighting style. Vegeta says he wants to get stronger than Goku by using another way, right? We saw he tried doing that with Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. He used the Spirit Fission against Moro, which without Vegeta, of course, they would have lost. So Beerus says that there could be a way that Vegeta could surpass Goku, right? Beerus says that, I want you guys to pay attention here. Beerus says that Ultra Instinct is not the only technique of the gods. That is huge, right? We thought that UI was the highest technique that gods could use, but there's other techniques, right? It doesn't say here that there's another technique that is higher than Ultra Instinct, but there are other techniques. So this could be the way that they have Vegeta finally reach Ultra Instinct level, right? Because we've known since the Tournament Power, Goku has been the stronger of the duo. No matter if it was Ultra Instinct Omen or Master UI, we knew that Goku was the stronger of the duo no matter what. But now they're telling us here that there is a chance that Vegeta could surpass Goku, or at least, be on par with him. So Beerus says that angels are especially experts in UI. So UI is perfect for angels, right? But Beerus also says such an obedient technique, it has to be gentle to the heart, right? And a technique being that gentle is unfitting for gods of destructions, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. Goku and Whis have a lot of similarities, just like Vegeta and Beerus have a lot of similarities. So I like what they're doing here. Goku training with Whis and Beerus potentially training with Vegeta. Beerus says he doesn't train anyone and he walks away, but he mumbles that he could do some exercise to keep himself awake, right? So, of course you're getting lazy Beerus here, but, he's not thinking about, we know that Beerus is lazy, but he actually, kind of goes back on that, and he tells Vegeta, you need to steal it, right? So basically, it's kind of like Beerus is egging Vegeta on, like, come trade with me, where Goku and Whis aren't paying attention. Let's go do this. So we don't know. So maybe Beerus had the secret technique up his sleeve the entire time. We know that in the manga, Beerus has used Ultra Instinct before. He did it when he was fighting the other gods of destruction. But his UI is also imperfect. So maybe Beerus has one of those other techniques of the gods, and he's gonna help Vegeta learn that secretly, right? So that's exciting. That's actually really exciting here. So that's all we get from Goku and Vegeta in this chapter, but I am very excited to see, Goku improving UI and whatever could be this new technique for Vegeta. So in space, right, we see Granola, and he's heading to an asteroid with some buildings on it, and remember, he still has 7-3 with him. So basically we get confirmation here that Granola is basically a bounty hunter. That's the easiest way to put it. Granola here is a bounty hunter, but we see that as Granola lands on the planet, an alien called Soshiru, that's how I'm going to call it, Soshiru, right? This alien approaches him and looks at 7-3 and wonders if that's the artificial life form that Elec was looking for, right? And Granola says, Granola ignores him, but he also suggests that they should pretend that they found 7-3 together, because, Granola was trying to get a big payday from catching 7-3. So Granola tells Soshiru not to get close to him, or that he'll deliver his head on top of it. So I love the serious nature that we get from Granola, right? As Granola enters the main building, we see, 4 people in front of him. And, the one in the middle is basically the boss here, and his name is Elec, right? Elec. So Elec asks his underling Oil to check to see if it's really 7-3, which he's able to confirm, right? And then Granola asks, for the money. And, Elec says, all right. And he tells his female underling, Mackie, so the female one of this group, she goes to, prepare the money for Granola. Granola asks, what's the purpose? What do you want with this 7-3 guy? And are they going to use him to create some kind of army? But Elec laughs and says that we heaters, right? So we don't know really the specifics behind the race, but they call themselves heaters. He says we heaters are not an army. He says that the biggest universal power is money and information, and whoever has the most information will be the one who rules the universe, right? And he believes that they could find that inside 7-3. So I don't know if they're talking about Granola or not Granola. If they're talking about 7-3 potentially having the information from Beerus, right, or something else. I don't know what that means, but I feel like it'll come into play a little bit later on in this arc, right? So basically, Granola doesn't understand, but he asks for his next job. Elec says that with Frieza's return, the situation inside the universe has changed, and he doesn't have any more jobs for him. So Granola is shocked, right, that he has not only no more jobs for him, but he's also shocked that Frieza got revived, right? But the thing about it is, Granola doesn't think about Frieza being revived. He thinks about getting revenge, right? So Granola starts, amping up. He shows some emotion here, and he's like, where is he? Please tell me. And Elec tells Granola he should probably just leave it alone, but Granola keeps going on, and then we see Elec's underlings, they kick Granola away to try to calm him down, right? Elec wants Granola to calm down, as he would need a proper plan to get revenge on Frieza, and offers that even one day Frieza could stand in his way. So Granola leaves, for now, right? And we see Oatmeal tells Granola to take it easy. So the reason why Elec tells Granola about Frieza is because he knows that Granola wants revenge on Frieza for what he did to his people all those years ago. And now Granola is going to be deeply motivated to go after Frieza's forces and attempt to get revenge. So he's kind of hoping that Granola does try to get revenge and ends up getting himself killed, because he knows that Granola is going to get stronger and stronger, and he doesn't want Granola to end up being stronger than his other underlings. We learned that we learned that Elec's strongest underling is Gas. He's the big fat dude, So that's that. We also know that Elec wants to use the information from 7-3 to find out about Zuno's place. Zuno's that big dude that we saw in the Universe 6 tournament arc. If you guys remember when Bulma and Jacko, they go over to Zuno's planet to ask about the Super Dragon Balls, how they can get them, all that other stuff. So it kind of goes with this whole thing that Elec wants to have all the knowledge in the universe, for his own evil deeds. So that's what he wants to use 7-3 for, to go after Zuno. We see Granola, he does plan to go back to Planet Cereal. We know that's his home planet, right? So it seems like the planet hasn't been destroyed, even though everybody on there is pretty much dead, because the Frieza Force raided that years ago, and that's the main reason why Granola wants revenge. But it looks like he is going to go home. So I do want to see what Planet Cereal looks like after all these years, and since Granola is probably the only one on the planet these days, right? So Oatmeal suggests that Granola go to sleep. So we also saw that at the beginning of the chapter. Oatmeal was telling Granola to sleep, but Granola said he had to stay up, right? So it seems like one thing, Granola is, stressing himself out with, his bounty missions and whatever, and he doesn't get enough sleep. So maybe that's going to play a, even a bigger, role later on in the arc, Granola's lack of sleep, because I am noticing that they're mentioning it multiple times. But we see, right, Oatmeal then gets attacked by Soshiru, right, the character we met earlier, who's trying to get the money that Granola just got from Elec's group. So we see Granola, he lands on a nearby asteroid. We see that Soshiru has some company with him, right, has a couple soldiers, and they go through Granola's spaceship, but he's not there. So we see that a voice talks through this like headset, right? So the headset that has that the tie for Granola's artificial eye, right? It starts talking, so I believe that's Oatmeal, so that's where Oatmeal's voice coming from. So that basically confirms that Oatmeal is basically artificial intelligence. Like I said in my spoiler video, the biggest similarity or comparison you can make to that is, if you guys have seen Marvel, right, you have Tony Stark, he uses Jarvis or Friday as his AIs to help him with whatever task he's trying to fulfill, right? So we see that Granola, he's on a nearby mountain, and he's basically able to, snipe Soshiru's henchmen from the mountain. So Soshiru gives up and he leaves, right? Even though Granola did leave some money there. So if Soshiru wanted to take some of that money on his way out, he could have, but he didn't see it. So Oatmeal praises Granola's sniping ability, but Granola realizes that he cannot defeat Frieza right now, and he needs to get stronger than anybody. So the chapter concludes with the Oracle Fish, right? The Oracle Fish is sleeping. You guys remember Goku and Whis were trying to get vitamins in him earlier because he was concerned, and the Oracle Fish usually gets in this agitated state when he predicts that something bad is about to take place in the universe. And the chapter concludes with the Oracle Fish saying that the balance of the 7 universe is changing soon. The strongest fighter of the universe will be born. So I'm assuming he's probably talking about Granola, right? If you guys saw the early draft pages, we thought it could have been somebody from Heater's group, right? Or not Heater's, Elec's group, right? They're called Heaters, but Elec's clearly the leader of that group. And I feel like they will play that group's definitely going to play a role, especially with OG73 still alive, right? Because we know that they're going to try to get information out of him. The part about, the strongest universe or the strongest warrior in the universe being born, that tells me that it could be Granola. I don't know if Granola's race has like a special transformation, right? There's still a lot about Granola we do not know, and we're gonna have to be patient because like I said, we had to do this with the Moral Saga, and I'm excited to see where this goes, and if Granola has like a special form, or is gonna train to get some new special power, right? It's still very early, but Granola does say, I gotta get stronger than anyone. So I am excited to see where this goes. I love Granola's personality here. I love the serious nature he has. And like I said, I don't think Granola's evil right now, at least, right? I think he just wants revenge. He doesn't seem like a bad guy in my opinion. These Elec's group, yeah, we can tell they're evil. We don't know their plans yet, right? Like I said, it's still very early, but I don't think Granola is evil. But we still have a long way to go. If I had to make a prediction for next chapter, I think we could see Granola attack Frieza, possibly. It's gonna be interesting. That's the direction that they have planned. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm also very excited to see what they do with Goku and Vegeta, right? Goku continuing to improve on UI, and Vegeta potentially getting his own technique of the gods. I know people are going to be like, oh yeah, Vegeta's going to get the offensive version of Ultra Instinct. Maybe it's something like that, because we all know UI fits Goku perfectly, because Goku's more of a defensive strategic fighter and Vegeta's more of an offensive brawler type of fighter. But either way, I am excited. I can't wait to see what happened, right? This was a good chapter. Some people could be like, oh, not enough action. Like, guys, you gotta let them set it up. You gotta set up the story here, right? It's not about it's not always about the action, we just gotta be patient here. But in my opinion, this was a good chapter, right? They did a good job with Granola. They did a good job setting what's the next, journey for Goku and Vegeta as they continue, training and, you know, getting more and more stronger as their power continues going into the realm of the gods, right? So we'll see, right? I'm hoping that we get to see Broly at some point in this arc. I feel like that would be awesome, but like I said, we still very early, and we'll see what happens with the next manga chapter, Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 69. Already looking forward to that. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed the review, leave a like on the video, make sure to subscribe, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzwang TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I will have some aftermath videos, right? Some discussions, talking about more of the stuff that happened in this arc. Or not this arc, in this manga chapter, right, where we could be heading. So, like, potentially talking about Vegeta's new form, if he's gonna get one, or like how much can Goku improve on UI, things of that nature. But I'm excited, you know, I am excited. So make sure to watch out for those bonus discussion videos in the next couple of days. Thank you guys once again. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.